Welcome to this summary for 096, which hits NA and CIS on Wednesday this week and C and EU on Thursday. This update has a lot of little bits and pieces in it, so you'll forgive me for only giving you a brief overview. This video could easily go over an hour if I went into detail, and I want to keep it much shorter than that. Let's get started. 096 is the early release event for the new German carriers, and this has to be one of the most complex release events Wargaming has ever done. Certainly on a par with the French destroyer release, if you remember that. I'll try to summarize what's going on, but honestly it's so complicated that I'm not sure I entirely understand it myself. The early release covers the Tier 4, 6 and 8 carriers, with the Tier 10 Manfred von Richthofen coming in 097 when the full line is released. This update, you have your chance to get your hands on the Rhine at Tier 4, Weser at Tier 6 and August von Parseval at Tier 8. The event has two core mechanics: German carrier containers and German tokens. Ultimately the ships come from the containers, and the tokens can be used to get some permacamos. Unlike recent events, tokens and containers are unrelated in this event. Containers for ships, tokens for permacamos. You can get standard containers from missions and daily drops. You'll also be able to get additional containers by watching the official Warship streams and using the codes they will release during those streams. You can find the stream schedule in my Discord if you haven't seen it. The standard containers can drop black and white and red consumable camos, signals, coal, free XP and premium time, and have a chance of dropping a mission for one of the early release carriers. Completing the drop mission will give you the carrier and a 3-point captain. The missions to get the containers are of two types. The usual 4-week directives, which by the way will run in parallel to the Odin event directives. There's also a new mission type related to your recent activity. These missions will be available on the second and third weekends of the update, and the difficulty and rewards you'll get will depend on how much you've played over the past few updates. Premium containers will also be available from the armory. These have more valuable rewards and I'm guessing have a higher drop rate for the missions. Now, on to tokens. The tokens can ultimately be spent in the armory to purchase the Iron Cross permanent camouflage for Kurfürst, Hindenburg, Z52 and Richthofen. Each one costs 600 tokens. Normally I'd summarize how many tokens you can get and from where, but it's honestly way too complex and the article doesn't give all the info I would need. Basically, there are mission chains and doubloon bundles which drop more mission chains as far as I can work out. Each doubloon mission chain costs 7,500 doubloons and grants 600 tokens in total. There are 3 available. The 4 non-bundle mission chains grant 600 in total, so it looks like you can get 1 permacamo for free, provided that you are lucky in getting the early release carriers and also have a Graf Zeppelin, because you'll need those to complete the final 4 missions. Confused? Yeah, me too. One thing is certain, there are a lot of missions. What about the carriers themselves? Well, due to the new NDA rules for contributors, I haven't actually played them very much during testing, as I've been unable to play them on stream and haven't had time to test them privately. However, I have played them a little. They have AP bombs and AP rockets and the fastest plane-dropped torpedoes in the game so far. The AP rockets are most useful against the flat sides of cruisers and almost useless against destroyers. The AP bombs, which work much like the Japanese AP bombs in terms of damage and targets, but the planes fly much higher and have a different bombing run style that takes a little getting used to. The torpedoes are by far the most comfortable weapon, with great speed making it very easy to hit large targets and even plausible to go after destroyers with them. The other interesting feature of these tech tree carriers is that they have secondary batteries with decent range and good accuracy, but don't expect Graf Zeppelin levels of effectiveness. These ships don't quite have the same firepower, but destroyers and cruisers getting too close will probably have a bad time. The early release event also includes an update to the Hamburg port, giving you a gorgeous sunset lighting scheme and celebratory decorations. Okay, that's enough of that, let's move on, we've got a lot more to cover. 096 has a clan battles season and a ranked battles season. Clan battles start on Wednesday the 15th for 6 weeks and will be fought at Tier 6 in a 7v7 format, including carriers. The maps included are Ring, Big Race, New Dawn, Trident, Neighbours, Riposte, and also Loop with a reduced combat area. Ranked is a full season, not a sprint, and starts on Wednesday the 22nd, continuing for 4 weeks. It will be at Tier 8 in a 7v7 format. The maps will be Greece, Northern Waters, Haven, Mountain Range, Trident, Loop, and Hotspot. The tab currently named Modules in the port is being renamed to Equipment and has a new layout. You won't see the ship model anymore while in this screen. Instead, you'll see the ship's modules, upgrades, and consumables all together at once. You'll be able to mount purchase modules with a single click. The other important change is that modules will no longer have any sideways research paths. They'll all stay within the module type, so you don't have to go through a hull to get to a gun upgrade, for example. For a few ships, this means that some modules have been removed completely, like the sea hulls on Farragut, Mahan, Benson, and Nürnberg. For other ships like Midway's rocket planes, they become sequential. You will receive compensation for these removals if you have them. This next one is quite exciting. In this update, the sound in the game is having some significant upgrades. I spent a lot of time on stream playing around with the new sounds on PTS, and I have to say that overall I really like them. The thing you'll notice most of all is the shell hit sounds. When a shell hits your ship, you'll hear a much heavier, more metallic sound than you do now, and the sound changes depend on the type of impact. My impression was that it brings more gravity to the game. Other sound effects include weather noises, aircraft sounds, radio chatter in the binocular view, and engine noises. When the update hits, I recommend turning all the sliders up to maximum level and setting the main volume slider to something low. You can then tweak the levels to your liking, but you'll get a better quality experience if you leave as many of the sliders as you can at the top and adjust the main volume. I'm honestly a little nervous about this one. Bots are being added to low tier matchmaking for random battles. At tier 1 to 5, when the queue has been longer than 3 minutes, player slots will be filled by bots. At tier 1 to 4, the bots will be co-op level bots, i.e. really stupid. At tier 5, there'll be operations bots, i.e. not quite so stupid. This reminds me of my experience of trying World of Warplanes a couple of years ago and seeing all bots except one other human in every single match. I don't want Warships to be like that, so this does make me a little sad, and I hope it doesn't discourage new players. Talking of new players, the number of battles players spend in protected matchmaking has been increased to 200, giving them a longer period of protection from experienced players when they play ships up to and including Tier 4. In 096, existing carriers with AP bombs are having their bomb damage decreased a little. Shikaku's bomb penetration is being increased a little. Graf Zeppelin is having its bomb aiming time reduced. Nicholas, Farragut, Mahan, Benson, Fletcher, and Gearing are all having their Def AA increased from a 50% to a 75% modifier. The Engine Boost Mod 1 Coal upgrade is being reduced from plus 50% action time to plus 40. One of my fellow CC's, Little White Mouse, has done a huge amount of work recently on ship turning circles. She noticed that the turning circles stated in port did not match those observed in battle for many ships. Ship turning circles have been adjusted to match the port figures. For most ships, this means their turning circles will be tighter, although a few will get larger. As extreme examples, 9 de Julio goes from 836 meters down to 690 meters, while Midway goes up from 836 meters to a whopping 1.2 kilometers. There's an entire table in the news article if you're interested. Nice work, Mouse. Good job. Don't forget that this update sees the end of the Soviet cruiser line split, and so the heavy branch will be fully released into the tech tree, and Petropavlovsk will be available for research from Riga. Early release Talons and Rigas will be converted into researchable ships in your ports. The ships which can drop from supercontainers have been updated to include Makarov, Mainz, Champagne, Cheshire, Ochakov, Bagration, Orkan, California, London, Mikoyan, and Kirov. Some recent camouflages have also been added. The HDR improvements have now covered almost everything. This time, the port's Naval Base, Azure Lane, Dragon, and Sarashima get the updated lighting model. Graphics quality at max settings has been improved, and the water quality on low settings has been improved too. A couple of miscellaneous changes I want to highlight. Special commanders who have no talents or enhanced skills will no longer get the yellow and red ribbon on their picture. The game will now only launch with Wargaming Game Center actually running, so if you use a shortcut to the executable to launch your game, that method may no longer work if you don't have Wargaming Center open. There are also a huge number of bug fixes. Go and see the list at the end of the update article if you're interested. Finally, something very welcome indeed, Wargaming have fixed an issue with the game's very basic replay system, which prevented viewers from reversing time. You will now be able to go forwards and backwards in time during a replay to watch something again. This also enabled them to create a basic bookmarking system, which will enable you to mark interesting points in time. These markers will be saved in a separate metadata file, and you can pass both the replay file and the metadata file to someone else, and they can then see and use your markers. I'm sure this will be very handy for submitting replays to streamers and for showing your friends when you do something cool. There's a document describing the controls for the improved mode, and I've posted this in the news channel of my Discord as a PDF if you're interested. I'll see if I can do a tutorial at some point when I've tried it out myself. That's it from this update. I just hope that the next early release event is more straightforward. I was 23 years old when I started making this video, and now look at me. If you like this update, please do subscribe to the channel and ring the bell for notifications about future videos. Also, please do pop across to twitch.tv/StatsBloke and follow me over there. I stream several days each week and often run giveaways over there for Wargaming codes, for subscriber camos and CC containers. I've mentioned the Discord a few times in this video. Please do find the link below, but be aware there is a little entrance exam you'll need to pass to see the dozens of channels that are there, and it's really easy to pass, but it does involve reading the instructions. Take care of each other, and I'll talk to you soon.